Hey, what's going on? It's been another week, and just as I'm starting, Melissa gets up and sprints to the kitchen. Real professional, this. And then whispering on the way back, as if I could hear you. Good lord. Starting. This is a professional show, Melissa. This isn't something that we do once a week, sitting on the couch. Fucking ridiculous. Unreal. Get your ass over here. Sit down.
Just start over.
No, we don't have to start over. See, people like getting a real insight into people's lives. They like to think,
yeah.
oh, look at that. You know, famous people like Taylor and Melissa, they even bicker and argue about when one of them gets up at rude times to go to the fridge. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they do. So you're gonna be doing your makeup during this because we've got a Deadpool date
Oh, yeah.
that she was really excited about.
It's movie weekend.
It's yay, woohoo, you know.
Oh, don't be so excited.
No, it'll be fun. It's just, so basically, we haven't had time or always had something come up every time we've wanted to see a movie for like the last month. So we haven't seen Hateful Eight, we haven't seen Revenant, we haven't seen I guess Deadpool just came out. What's the other one we're going to see?
Hail Caesar.
We haven't seen Hail Caesar. I don't even know what Hail Caesar is.
It's the new Coen Brothers movie.
Oh, is it doing well?
I don't care. It's the new Coen Brothers movie. That's all I need to know.
Okay. So I guess for the next 4 days, we're going to be going at some point during each of those days to see a movie. And as soon as we're done with this fucking thing today, we are headed to a luxury theater to sit in recliners, get drinks and food, snacks.
Yeah, it's my Valentine's gift to you.
Is it?
Take you to a bunch of movies all weekend.
You're paying for all the movies?
I bought all the tickets.
Oh, ooh. Oh, Melissa, you shouldn't have. I hope
No,
you
I'm
don't
making
think,
you.
Yeah, I hope you don't think this means I'm going to put out. You know? I'm not an object that you just insert coins of favors and kindness into to get dick out of.
Well, I've been wanting to see these for a while, and I think that 4 movies in one weekend is overkill for you, so I better be the one buying the tickets.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, I like going to movies. It's fun. It's infinitely more fun for me. Like, I can't, after going to those nice theaters where you can sit in the recliner and have the little, it's almost like a desk in school where you pull the front around to you and then you can move it around when you need to get up from class. You know what a desk is. You're not retarded. It's like that, and you can just order beer or soda or popcorn or burgers or pasta. Like, it's not just shit food. It's pretty neat. They offer donuts on their menu, and every time we've gone, which is like 3 times, 3 or 4 times, you've ordered donuts.
Yeah.
And not once have they brought donuts.
No, I don't think they have a fryer. I think it's a lie.
You think that that's just something they put
Yeah.
on there to seem fancy?
And the second time I ordered them, I'm just like, oh man, I really hope they bring them this time. And I want them more because they haven't brought them.
Yeah, and you need to know how good their donuts are. But yeah, one of those times they tried to sneak it onto the bill, and so I had to have an uncomfortable conversation with the guy who comes by while you're in the theater, and you can't just, like a restaurant, say, like, oh, this didn't come out, I'm not going to pay for this, we didn't get this. It's like, oh, excuse me, yeah. So you're, like, barely raising your hand to get their attention because there's people watching a movie around you, and then you have to be like, oh, yeah, we didn't get donuts. Oh, you didn't get donuts? No, we didn't get any donuts. Oh, are you sure? Yeah, I'm pretty fucking sure we would have eaten donuts had they come. And then they go back and fix your fucking thing and bring it back. It really wasn't that bad.
Yeah, because they wait until like the last 20 minutes of the movie to bring you your check, and then they just kind of drop it off and leave. They don't say anything, so they just drop it off. And then they just come by and pick everyone's check up at the same time. So it's like, oh, that person didn't get their check picked up.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have money.
Maybe their card declined, and now they're going to have to, clean dishes in the back of the AMC theater or whatever they do. I don't think that's a real thing. I've never met anyone who had to clean dishes at a restaurant because they couldn't pay.
That might be a good deal depending on what you order.
Yeah,
just
maybe.
clean some dishes.
I'm sure that does happen. Maybe it's because I don't hang out with pores. Like filthy pores. who go and who go and order food and then
You
are
mean
like,
scumbags? Because not all poor people do that.
of course not. But no rich people do that. Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard about rich people leaving like penny tips because they're just assholes.
Yeah, I've heard about that too. I don't know. That's different than just dipping out on the whole bill, though. Either
Yeah,
way,
it's a new level of dick.
It's scummy. It's a different kind of douchebaggery. It's way douchier to just not pay at all and leave and dine and dash. Way douchier. Which I've said before I had to do
illegal.
once. Yeah. It is illegal. It's just stealing.
Yeah.
You're just stealing food from people. Anyway. Yeah, so the movie weekend should be fun. Hopefully I'll enjoy this Deadpool movie. Because I'm most excited about Revenant.
You're not excited. I'm so excited about Deadpool.
I know you are. You've been talking about it nonstop.
I don't like superhero movies, but I love Kick-Ass. I like those rated R, just really gory, nasty. Yeah.
And you said you thought
Dick jokes.
It looked a little romantic too, right?
Well, they've marketed it that way.
Yeah, but
like they've marketed it as the like romantic comedy to go see for Valentine's weekend. So
to just try and trick a bunch of women.
There's no trickery. Like, you can't watch those and think, like, oh, this is going to be such a romantic comedy. Like, there's no trickery. It's just funny. It's just satire.
No, I mean, like, the trickery was the advertising where it was, like, a poster board or a billboard or whatever with Ryan Reynolds' face on it, and then it just says, like, Deadpool, Valentine's Day opening or whatever, and people assume, like, oh, Ryan Reynolds, he's a sexy guy. Ooh, Valentine's Day, that's a sexy holiday. Oh, maybe my boyfriend will take me to that, and the boyfriend's like, haha, this dumb bitch has no idea what kind of movie this is.
Yeah, she would have to be a dumb bitch to not know what kind of movie it is.
Yeah.
A rated R superhero movie. Yeah. I mean, even a poster would clue you in on that. You should,
Should what?
silence those sounds coming out of your computer there and out of your phone. Jesus! Talk about unprofessional.
Melissa, these texts that I get, these are important messages, professional messages, and I do have the Skype noise turned off.
You doing the business?
Probably.
You don't have it, because I just heard it. That's the only reason
No,
I
look at this.
over.
Look at this right here. Woody got pissed at me for having, or not pissed at me, but he said that I should turn on quiet hours. And I turned on quiet hours, which means that none of these, because for the longest time, like, the Windows Update sound would come on during PKA, and all they could hear was like, ba-da-da-da-da, or like whatever that sound is.
Okay, well, that's a Skype noise, not a Windows noise, so Windows doesn't give a shit what quiet hours are when it's coming from an application that you're using.
All right. I'll just sign out of Skype. Jesus Christ. Nothing's ever good enough for you!
I didn't say sign out, I just said mute that shit.
Mute that shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, I figured.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, we've been pissing away enough time here. Check out the Patreon. The bonus episode is going up. Melissa and I are going to do that either Sunday or Monday. And the meet and greet and chat is tomorrow at noon, Saturday. If for some reason a lot of you aren't able to make it, as seems to be the case, because I mean it's just difficult to organize a lot of people's schedules. That's just the way it is and the way it's always going to be. Hopefully we get a lot of you guys in, or I get a lot of you guys in there to that tomorrow at noon. Hang out for a while, and then if there's more than a few of you who couldn't make it, I will try and set something up for a weekday this week during the day. I should be open, and I will. I'll let you know. Keep you posted on that though. But anywho, Melissa, you had a couple of topics that you brought.
Oh. Which should we do first?
Oh, the more
exciting one or the more serious one?
I think we'll lead with exciting.
Okay, well...
Wait, which one is which? The way you said exciting or serious, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, this is the exciting one.
I thought that you were setting me up to make fun of the topics that I was bringing.
No.
Oh. I'm very cynical. I always assume someone's out to get me. It's a good way to live your life.
It's because I am always out to get you, slapping your ass or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're always slapping my ass or grabbing handfuls of things in public that don't need grabbed.
Not in public, come on.
Not public. Red Robin isn't public.
Not the bathroom anyway.
Yeah, of course not. Oh man, memories. That hot barbecue chicken burger breath. All right, so this is your topic, babe. You take the reins.
Okay, well, they just released, like, what does this say? 20-some screenshots from the new Game of Thrones set, and they're pretty exciting, and you haven't seen them yet, so I wanted to show them to you and go over what's going on.
All right, so I haven't seen these, and I guess I'll just have to. I will put the link for this in the video, so you can follow along if you are actually watching this on YouTube. I think most of you download it, but
beware
regardless.
spoilers, because it shows you the fates of several characters that were kind of left dangling in front of you at the end of the last season.
Well, we shouldn't. All right, we got to be very careful not to spoil things for this list.
I mean, HBO released these. Who gives a shit? Like,
someone will care.
It's gonna show up in one of the trailers. It's like, oh, sorry, you didn't see the trailer. Sorry to spoil things.
Oh, okay. All right, well, keep going. What's the first one?
Okay, well, this first one's Tyrion. Well, you can. I don't have to.
Oh,
explain
these are the
everything.
pictures.
We can just.
This
Yeah, these
is
are
just
the
a picture of Tyrion drinking wine next to Grey Worm and that one black girl who speaks multiple languages. That Khaleesi has a little. Khaleesi has a little bit of a lesbian crush on her
because she's really cute.
What?
But,
that doesn't mean anything.
Well, she doesn't in the book, but that actress is really cute, so of course they would, do that. Did that happen in the book? I don't remember.
Yeah, it wasn't with her, though. It was with a different slave girl that she ended up locking in that tomb, or that safe with the black guy who was like, I am the richest man in this city.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. My name is Zakatukata.
And he tried to steal her dragons.
Zoandaxos. Yeah, tried to steal her dragons.
My dragons.
Yeah, so this picture is not interesting. Sansa standing there. Is that Sansa?
Yeah, that's Sansa.
That's Sansa standing there.
After she's fallen. She's alive. Spoilers. In the next season, she is alive.
Oh, well,
With
I mean,
Reek.
I think everyone knew that she was going to be alive in the next season because that would have been an inexcusably bad death scene.
No, it wouldn't have been bad at all.
It would have been horrible.
No, it would have been bad because everybody would have been cheering.
No, not everybody.
Sansa is
not
so
everybody
boring.
hates Sansa as much as you, though.
Well,
I
don't see why not, because she's just as boring in the show as she is in the
books,
and there's not anything going on with her that I care about except for the whole, like, the only reason they seem to have kept her around was for the Reek and, what's his name?
Theon?
No,
Ramsay?
Yeah, Ramsay.
Huh. Okay, I'm
Snow.
scrolling through all these pictures right now, and it seems like a huge tease and almost a borderline lie, saying that these are like leaked pictures.
They're not leaked. I didn't say they're leaked. I said HBO released them.
Oh, well, no, these are just pictures that could have come from last season. She's sitting there.
They didn't.
Arya's sitting there looking blind. That was the same thing that was going on last season. Right up here, Tyrion looking somber with a beard.
Okay, well, let me scroll then. Okay, yes, but they are screenshots. They've said from the new season.
So season 6 is confirmed. Yeah, they are in the process of making it right now, or actually, hopefully, they're done because they are way late if they're not done with it yet.
And then Reek and Sansa. You're going out of order here. See?
I know.
They didn't show Arya, like, that was the very last scene with Arya, was that she woke up and she's like, I can't see. Which they need to get past that storyline because they didn't spend enough time on the House of Black and White.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last season. And the Faceless Man, what do they call him in the book? They don't call him that in the show.
Faceless Men? I don't remember.
No, the Kindly Man.
The Kindly Man.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that might be who it is. The guy who's in charge of that house. Regardless, that's not very interesting.
But they make it look like he's the same guy. What's his name?
I don't know.
There's too many characters with names. The guy that gives her the coin.
Oh.
You said he had a name, but it's not the Kindly Man, but they make it the same person in the show.
I don't know his name. I don't remember it.
Oh, you knew at one point.
I knew it at one point, but it's been so long since I've read.
And then there's Ramsay and his dad and Tyrion.
Still in the
yeah.
show, yeah.
Yeah, still in the show. And
Kind
it's
of
like
half black
Mahandi or
chick,
something.
still in the show.
Oh my god.
Dirty-faced Khaleesi, still in the show.
I hope she gets dysentery like she does in the books.
You hope that she's
Yeah.
just shitting
Yeah.
all day, and then
Yeah.
it's very graphic.
Yep.
You think that's
Just
another thing in
water
their contract is that, you know, you can't see my real tits and you can't see my real shits.
Yep.
Is that to be CGI poop mounds sitting around?
Yep. CGI poop.
Yeah. Maybe she's like a method actor and flies to India, just take a big gulp out of the Ganges River, and then fly back to where they're shooting and actually possibly die for real, because that's not a good place to drink.
And then there's the church guy.
Yeah, the monk man.
Yeah, that guy.
And Jamie.
Oh God.
Oh, he's all sad about Marcella's fate
Yep.
in the most recent season.
And
would you
she's
look at
laying
that?
she's laying in a little. At least we assume that's her. We only know it's her when we scroll down 2 more pictures and see her laying on the table thing there.
Yeah. People are going to be mad at you for spoiling things.
I kinda
Even though
hope-
shit happened last season, people will still care. And
Well,
be like, oh my god, you
We gave
spoiled
them
it.
spoiler warnings, so go fuck yourself. Do you think she's got those stones with the weird eyes on
Oh,
them?
of course she does. That's their thing.
That'll be interesting.
Very into
to
those
see.
eye stones. Oh,
Yeah.
thank God Brienne of Tarth, that boring, lumbering whore, is still alive. God, her whole thing is, you know, oh, I'm going to be honorable. And nothing she's done has been honorable.
See,
The only real charge that she was given of, like, protect me by Catelyn, she failed at. Actually,
Yeah.
no, she failed at protecting Renly. She failed at protecting Catelyn. And now she's basically trying to bully the Stark girls into doing what she wants.
Yeah.
She stumbles upon the, like, sick and infected hound in the wilderness, and it's like, oh, I'll just kill this guy while I'm out here, and the hound's like, "Urgh, I'm dying.
She didn't kill the hound.
Well, she may have.
She
But
may
myself.
have. Well, it depends on what you're thinking about, if it's the book or the show. Cause
I'm thinking about about wanting to leave it ambiguous so that people don't get pissed about overwhelming spoilers, which they
okay.
already are going
Well,
to.
whatever. We said spoilers. But she, the thing that pisses me off about Brienne in the show is that we don't really get to know what actually happens to Brienne from the books because they've departed from that. Because I think, like, she might be dead in the books.
Brienne?
But she might not be dead in the series, in the television series. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like, they've kind of passed the point where I think she experiences that in the books.
Mayhaps.
Because they've departed from that storyline so much.
I'm just going to scroll down and
Red
see
Woman.
what else they've got in here. Oh, looks like Varys and Tyrion are in a scene together, which is good. They have great chemistry. There's Sir Davos looking
Sir Davosy.
very sullen and downtrodden. He's never happy.
Yeah,
almost-
Sir Davosy.
Iron Islands guy. Hey, look, Bran. Bran's in the show. Oh, thank God.
Looks like he's standing, and he's also aged quite a bit.
Yeah, well, that's puberty. You know, he was like an actual child when this series started.
He went from like 2 feet tall on the ground, crawling around.
Yeah, he is definitely significantly older than when this series started, which this is season 6, so that should not be a surprise to anyone. Hey, and it comes out April 24th, 2016. So that's neat. Fun.
I think those are cool. I like seeing shit like that because
Because you just do.
Yeah.
You're very obsessed with movies and TV shows and actors, and you know a lot about that shit.
I'd say that about certain things, though. I like, if you ask me movie trivia about a lot of popular stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, but the way that you obsess over movies and are looking up IMDb and stats and shit like that is the same way that, like, I do with hockey.
Yeah.
Where I spend hours poring over stats and historical figures and just stupid nonsense that I don't even need to know, but it's interesting to me. Anywho, that's enough Game of Thrones talk. People are... hopefully I didn't spoil anything for anyone. If it did, then you're behind anyway. So fucking get on the ball, man.
Oh, but it did spoil things. Like, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So something I found is there's a white guilt cartoon that they are showing at a school to children.
What school? All schools?
Not all. A Virginia school district. So Virginia. It was a short film produced by the African American Policy Forum. Ooh, sounds unbiased. Sounds like they don't have sounds like they don't have an agenda.
No agenda there.
Yeah. So let's take a look at it. I'm gonna have it on mute because we watched it about part of it before we started just to make sure it wasn't complete shit. And there's like no, it's all just weird visuals and there's no words and I don't know. It's fucking weird. I'll have
complete shit though.
Yeah,
That's why we're talking.
It is complete shit. So I'll have this linked below as well, so you guys can watch and laugh at this hilarious, just complete bastardization of history. So it's about 4 minutes long. So we're just gonna play it and watch. Starts off structural discrimination, the unequal opportunity race. It's panning down into a big area. There's a track, and there's 4 runners. And it's 2 blacks and 2 whites. Now I know what you're thinking.
The black people will win.
Yeah, you think the black people are going to come out fast, but no. The white people come out at 14:92, and the black people can't even start because there's a light in front of them, and the words slavery and broken treaties and genocide and Trail of Tears, which was Indian people, but it's all keeping them back. The black people haven't even started the race. Now it's 16:35. White people just made their first lap. Oh, now it shows the white man running. Oh, and his baton with a big money sign on it is just getting bigger and bigger. And by 17:20, he hands it off to his son, who has a ton of money too, which is very true. I'm going to pause real quick. The average man in 1720 in the United States was loaded. Do you know that?
No.
Yeah, they had a ton of... No, they didn't. They didn't have anything. There was nothing. There were like 11 dudes who were set up well. And everybody else was like, God damn, like...
And it's like those same 11 dudes
I'm kind of taking England's side here. Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
These Indians killing us. We're trying to kill them. They're always sick.
Okay, let's not get started on the Indian.
No, but I guess this was well past the Indian thing in 17. I guess it's 68 where I paused it. But yeah, guy running with his fortune. His fortune that his dad, who lived there for one generation, made, I guess, and then just handed off to him. Not much spending in this reality. All saving and handing down. Meanwhile, black people still aren't even able to run. 1768. Let's start it back up. Doing? They're just standing there waiting, lazily. And then, yep, the baton of money keeps getting bigger. I can't wait until I turn 30 and my dad gives me my baton full of money.
Why would
Oh, now look at this. 1964. It lets the black people start running.
Okay, question. So why would the African American Policy Forum, is that who created this?
Yeah.
Why would they admit to nothing changing at all? Like, the white people are doing shit, and the black people are just stopped in front of a stop sign, and they're not doing anything this entire time. Like, they actually accomplished things during that time period.
Well, it's funny is that slavery outlawed 1864, 1865. They didn't let the black people come off the starting block in this little narration until literally a century after the end of that. A century later. And they're like, all right, like, now you can start running. Like really?
It's like, oh, there's no culture there?
So
they were just standing there doing absolutely nothing?
So they were, like, according to you, black people were just so inferior at that time that, like, they didn't accomplish anything, right? They didn't do anything of value. For 100 years, not one of them jumped off that starting line. No. Meanwhile, the white guy and the white girl who are running, that's just all white people, you know. There's no Irish guy who got to start in 1925, 1935 off the starting block. No, he's just a white guy. There's no Italian who had to start 120 years later. You know, it's ridiculous. There's no Jews on there. No, it's just all white. You all are, it's like the apex fallacy, where you assume everyone in a group is in charge. Where they're like, oh, you know, white men, they're in charge of everything. Well, it's like, no, just because white men hold a lot of power doesn't mean that your average white man has any more power than anybody else. If anything, with the way the modern zeitgeist is, who is it that gets to go to HR in companies, that gets to go on the media, to the media, actually, and make outrage over being offended, over being discriminated against, purportedly, things like that? Who actually has the power to draw a crowd with that kind of shit nowadays? Is it white people? No. No, it's only
they could
minorities.
Draw a crowd.
White
like
people
if
couldn't?
they had the audacity to do that, they'd
No,
be like,
they wouldn't.
look, they'd make an example out of you. Be like, look at this white motherfucker right here, like trying to claim discrimination or whatever. You know,
but
and
it wouldn't even become a story because nobody would give a shit. Meanwhile, if a black woman does it or another minority group member does it, it's once the establishment is overwhelmingly concerned with keeping you placated and happy and not feeling victimized in any way. Once you've achieved that status, aren't you the one with some privilege at this point? That the establishment itself of commerce, of business, of government, of everything is just bending over backwards to try and facilitate all of your needs and try and not step on any shoes or toes or anything. Like, doesn't that mean anything? You know what I mean?
And they're trying, like, I feel like they're trying to trick them in a lot of ways. They use it in the case of schools, like letting in more African Americans that don't actually make the cut, giving them student loans, giving them the tools they need to succeed, and then when they don't actually succeed, they fail harder than they would have before. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and like this is for children. Like if you're an adult watching this, like black, white, you can see through this horse shit and be like, yeah, this is nonsense. It's a gross oversimplification of what's going on, and a lot of it is just outright misinformation and lies. But if you're a child watching this, like if you're a little black kid watching this, and this is your first kind of eye-opening experience where you're like, oh my god, I had no idea that Teddy and Steve and Alan, my white friends in this class, are actually out to get me. And that they are consciously like building up this reservoir of funds for them to use and have fun with. And meanwhile, I am just getting butt-fucked at every turn just because I'm black. Like, isn't that going to foster a lot of resentment between kids for no reason?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
If you tell... it's happened already multiple times. Just misinformation that gets certain groups pissed at other groups for no like. I was looking it up. Something like 5% of white Americans back in the day, like families even, had slaves. Like, if you were to ask anybody about it now, like any white person, my family wasn't even here when slaves were around.
What? Which family? Because I've heard that you had ancestors that owned slaves.
From who?
You.
Oh, that was something that my my mom looked up as some like so long ago, like in England.
Okay.
Like not here.
Okay.
Like
just checking,
my dad's side of the family didn't come here
that.
until the late 1800s or early 1900s. Which means I don't have any blame. Not like you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like me?
Sinner. Slaver.
What?
I don't know.
My ancestors were Cherokee Indians.
No, you had some whites in there, too. Probably some evil whites.
Some French Canadians and Germans.
Ugh, the worst kind.
Yep.
Germans. I bet you had multiple cash batons handed to you.
Oh, I wish. I'd be jumping for joy if I did.
That would be sweet. Yeah, but this is just silly. It's just, I'm going to keep watching it here, but it's just nonsense of the highest order. And now look at this. Now, while they're running, the blacks have just been released, and they're able to run around the track, just like the whites have been released for hundreds of years now, running around the track, and a storm cloud just appears over the black people. So even God hates them. Like, and doesn't want them succeeding. Now they're stumbling over rocks, and it says, poor schooling. Now the black girl, she fell into a pit, and the black guy has to turn around and be like, oh my god, let me help you out of that pit. And it says underemployment. Let's see. This is weird. This is a weird kind of culty. If you question it, then you're a bigot. Look, this guy just had to swim through a pit of sharks in the middle of this race as the white people are just traipsing about the course, and it said standardized testing. We talked about this briefly beforehand.
Yeah. It's horseshit.
Standard? You mean the test that is made the same for everyone is that's the pit of sharks that you have to overcome?
Yeah, but
that is horseshit.
Standardized testing would you say, has not improved the quality of education in the United States?
I don't know, but
it doesn't improve education, and it doesn't really. I don't think it holds anyone back.
When you have state and federal schooling systems, you need some measure of how well districts are doing compared to other districts.
Yeah, but how well is it doing? We have the worst education system in the first world countries.
It's not true.
Yeah, we're like at the bottom. The United States is one of the worst.
Are you sure? Because something like 18 of the top 20 universities on the planet are in the United States.
That's secondary education. Primary education is the worst, like, in the world for first world countries.
There's no way that we are the worst of
we
first
are
world
one of
countries
the worst.
In the world. Maybe we are.
We're like very, very, very close to the bottom.
It's a lot more difficult to educate a diverse country with 350 million people in it than it is for a homogenous country like, Switzerland or Sweden to do the same thing when they have, a 0.5% of the population size. Like,
I'm not making excuses.
I'm just saying that standardized tests, I'm not defending them that they are, the
I
best
think they're
thing.
horseshit, but they're not horseshit because they're biased. They're horseshit because they're horseshit.
Okay, well then you're arguing a point that I'm not making.
I know, I'm just saying.
I'm saying that arguing that a test that by its very definition is standardized is biased doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense at all.
But people claim that the definition they're not actually standardized. That's their argument, is that they're not actually standardized.
Yeah, and the retort to that would be, well, what's your fucking solution here? Because we need a way to compare districts to other districts and compare like with like and figure out what's working and what isn't and how certain just throwing more money at schools isn't going to make it any better. Like, that's all you hear anyways. Oh, these poor schools in the inner city who don't have any opportunities and whatnot, they just need a lot more funding. Like,
I don't think they're the ones that's holding us back. Like, that they're not the overwhelming majority that's holding the whole United States for primary education back.
Well, who would that be?
All of us. Like,
all of us?
Schools, pretty much.
No.
They fall below other first world countries. Anyways, I don't want to argue about it.
We don't have to. I'm just saying that treating standardized tests as though they are a shark pit that you have to jump through and swim through.
I think that the shark pit is getting, them to show up.
What do you mean?
Getting them to show up to school. Like, a lot of impoverished areas that are heavily populated with minorities, it's not about getting them to pass tests. It's about getting them to show up for school. Yeah. Because that attendance is a big problem.
That's another thing, is that all of these little words, like they're saying, of like genocide, slavery, discrimination, this, that, it's all outsourcing responsibility. None of it is an internal problem within a culture.
I'm not saying it's an internal problem.
What I'm saying
it's
is
a community problem.
Maybe that's the same thing I was saying. Community, in that community, in that culture, whatever you want to say, same meaning.
No.
How about have black on black crime as the shark pit you have to swim through?
Yeah.
That's a bigger impact than any of that shit. Do you think that is a smaller deal than standardized testing? Like, it's just the dishonesty with videos like this, where it's like, that you're painting with a biased brush and that you're not actually being honest about this shit. And when there is a huge looming issue against you, like black-on-black violence in inner cities, you just don't even mention it. Fuck it.
They're outsourcing it.
Yeah, outsource responsibility for that. That's really X, Y, and Z's fault. And now the white people are gone. I guess they're just running around the track, collecting batons of cash. And the black people are trying to run around the track, but then one of them gets caught in a jail cell and school to prison pipeline. You know?
Oh God,
He was just
such
he
horse.
just fell ass backward into an armed robbery, and now oh my God, I'm holding this store up. Then she was stopping, and it said housing segregation, because apparently that's still legal. Now an Asian gentleman has showed up to make the black girl take a drug test. Racial profiling. That's true. They only make black people take drug tests for job opportunities. Did you know that? And now it says shortened lifespan. She stopped at a dead end, distraught and sad. She hasn't even found one money baton. And then over there in the white guys' fucking lane, they're building one of those things that you use at airports to walk faster. And the white guy's just standing still, gloating. He's got his power shake with him and his towel, and it says privilege, wealth, old boy network, all these things that apparently are only for white guys, you know? And of course the white girl, you know, keeping up with them, but through her very hard work that she keeps up, you know? White men, though, God. I just hate shit like this. Stupid nonsense where they only pick on the one group that it's okay to pick on nowadays. White guys. That's it.
Yeah.
It's the only group you're allowed to make fun of.
Yeah.
Because it's only politically correct to punch up.
There are some really poor as shit white trash hick people in, what is it? Like the Rocky Mountains, I think? I'm not sure.
Appalachian Mountains.
Appalachian Mountains?
Yeah.
They've done documentaries on how, like, seriously impoverished those people are. They're not in inner cities. They're out in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. And they're so poor. And it's like those aren't even considered problems.
I mean, there's more.
Do they think that, oh, well, you had it coming to you?
Yeah, there's more poor white people than poor black people just by the fact of the population. Percentage-wise, I'm sure there's more poor black people than poor white people. Actually, I don't even know that because I know exactly what you're talking about. Even where my grandparents live, in the southern part of the state, if you drive around anywhere, like, you're going to see a fuck ton of just tragically poor, all white people.
Yeah.
Used to have farms, couldn't afford to keep them. Now they stay in tiny little shitholes that are just horrific. Like, and where's their money baton, huh? It's all this video does is it takes the top 0.1% of white guys and pretend that all white guys have that going for them, you know? That if I just show up to life, I'll end up with a big money baton that apparently I'll just give to my kid as we run around the track again in 20 years. And meanwhile, through either my negligence or just active evilness, I'm keeping black people down. It's propaganda. It's fucking nonsense propaganda shown to kids just because some superintendent got pressured by a bullshit group, and now they have to show that they're not racist by showing a video that's just not going to do nothing but breed resentment in children.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not going to help. You think anybody's going to watch that and be like, you know what? That's true. I'm a multi-billionaire. My dad gave me $1 billion, but the fact is that I was standing on the fucking escalator in the airport being carried to victory. But really, it's this black guy who had to swim through the dangerous seas of standardized tests that he's the one who deserves all my money. Let me give it to him. That's not going to happen. Nothing's going to change. All it's going to do is make little black or minority kids resentful of white kids, and it's going to make little white kids, especially little white boys, confused as to why they're being blamed for something and that they're intrinsically wrong about something when they didn't do anything. They weren't around. They don't understand culture and context. They're just kids. It's just, what a shit, nonsense, PC horseshit thing to do. That shit like this bothers me to no end. We just talked about that for too long. Too long!
Well, it was a long video we went off on.
Yeah, it was.
Rails.
I don't know. Anyway, so Facebook was providing free internet to people in India.
Oh,
and
free internet.
It got banned. It wasn't really free.
Banned?
Like, from what the brief research I did is that it was like only certain sites like that Facebook allowed.
Oh.
And so it was still
the
free.
real important ones.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure some of it was like horse shit, like Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, if that's a website or just an app, I don't know. But some of it was, I'm sure, like sites where you could seek employment, sites where you could look up medical information, like shit like that. And it got banned. And I was reading online, and all the people in like the comment section of the article I went to were just saying shit like, well, first of all, I want to hear what you think about that. That Facebook had offered free internet.
I don't understand what's going. Like, what does that mean?
So they
like
offered
free Wi-Fi access. Like, how are they offering this internet? Are they sending people routers and hooking up internet to their houses? Are they putting Wi-Fi hotspots?
I think it was
everywhere?
large Wi-Fi hotspots.
Okay,
because they definitely weren't setting up routers in a bunch of.
There's a
homes.
lot of people that live there. It'd be a
Billions.
good research opportunity if you want to, find out more about a culture and how they operate, which you can do tracking people's web history and shit like that. Like, I'm sure if it's a Wi-Fi hotspot, you have to agree to certain terms and conditions when you connect to any Wi-Fi network, and they can pretty much monitor everything you do on that network.
Now they can't do it anymore because it's banned. And all the little comments I was reading was just shit like, oh yeah, that's good that they shut down that Facebook nonsense. That's crazy to think they can just take advantage of all these poor people and just give them certain sites they can go to and only accomplish certain things on their free, in quotes, internet. And it's like, what a spoiled first world way to look at that.
Well,
to think that they're in the same situation. It's like a starving person on an island somewhere, and McDonald's shows up and says, hey, here's a bunch of food for you, tons of food, you don't have to worry about starving, but the only food we brought you are McDoubles and chicken nuggets and our gross, weird salads.
Well,
like,
using that analogy, I would argue that maybe McDonald's was trying to see how their food affected a certain group of people. Like,
yes.
There's other motives
but the motive doesn't have to be one of benevolence. The person who's getting that food doesn't give two shits that McDonald's is trying to learn something off of them. In their head, it's like, oh, okay, fine, let them do it. I'm getting fucking food, and I'm going to survive. In the impoverished Indian person's head who finally gets internet, even if it's not unregulated internet like we have here, or largely unregulated, it's still internet. They can still get on there and look up monster.com, find a job. They can look up something to fucking improve themselves.
I don't think what's wrong is limiting. I don't think the limitations is what is wrong about what they did. I think, I mean, I don't know anything about it. I don't know I've never heard of this until you just mentioned it. My first thought, though, is they want to know more about this group of people, so they offer a service to poor people so they can find out how to exploit them in other ways. I don't know what their motives would be.
That's exactly what they're doing. There's like a 1.4 billion people that live there, or something ludicrous like that. And so they know it's a market and that they can make money in there. But at the end of the day, it's such an impoverished country. Don't you just think it would help a little more just to have the internet there? Like, let Facebook mine their data, get what they need. Who gives a fuck? But it probably is going to help more people than it's going to hurt. In the short term, immediate.
Yeah, in the short
term. Letting people look up jobs online, look up information online that otherwise would have been complete. For them, it's like if someone asked you a stat about, like, hey, how big do you think an African elephant is in, like, the year 1909? Where someone would be like, I don't know, probably pretty big. And they'd be like, yeah, I wish I knew that. And you just didn't. Well, you go to a library and hope that some dude drew it well or took a shit picture. Like, now, that's the era they're still living in without internet. And so to get the internet at all is huge. It's huge. And I think since we've grown up with it, we were kind of underestimating how immense that would be for a whole culture, or giant swaths of a culture, to suddenly get that sort of information access.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have that much of an opinion about it unless they're, like, going in with really explicit goals of harming the people. Not harming them, but I mean using them for marketing, shit like that. I don't know the details though, so.
No. Not familiar with the details?
No. You didn't. I mean, we don't have enough time to go over all of them.
No, we don't. Because we've got a date to go to, don't we?
I'm not even gonna.
Just looking at how grossed out your face is.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Nah.
Oh, I'm gonna do that to you in public and humiliate you.
Okay. Try. We'll see what happens.
Well, I know what's gonna happen is I'm gonna do it and kind of giggle a little bit, and you're just gonna look around mortified.
Maybe.
Maybe? What do you
Maybe.
think? Are you gonna escalate it, and then we'll look like a couple of tools in there?
I'm not gonna spoil it for you.
Oh, you're not?
No.
All right. Well,
We'll see what happens.
I'll try and embarrass her at the theater later today, guys, and we'll post an update on what goes on.
No, you won't. You won't post an update because you'll be embarrassed.
No? Okay. Let's find a question here. Keep me anonymous. So one night I was scrolling through 4chan just for fun, and I came across the shit 4chan says board. Shit 4chan says board. I've never heard of that. Now I have seen some disgusting shit, but this was by far the worst. I clicked on a GIF, and it turned out to be a porno with 2 girls and 1 chimp. I immediately threw up. I mean, I only watched like 5 seconds, but it was for sure the worst 5 seconds of my life. This happened like 2 weeks ago, and I keep thinking about it at the most unfortunate times, like when I'm masturbating or doing a presentation in front of the class.
Or a presentation.
Could you give me some advice on how to get this chimp porn out of my mind? Thanks, Dad. So you're just masturbating, trying to think about lesbians or whatever you were thinking about, and you're just picturing these 2 girls getting, ravaged by a monkey, a chimp. How would that even work? Now I need to look this up.
No, you don't.
Well, what would the chimp be doing?
I don't want to see this.
What could the
It
chimp
would bother me too.
What could the chimp be doing?
I don't want to think about it.
You don't?
No.
Not even a little bit?
No. You do because you just love chimps.
I love chimps.
You want to know everything.
I want to know everything about chimps. If I was in India, I would take free internet just to Google about chimps. I love monkey facts. I don't know what it would do, though, because chimps have very small penises. And very large testicles. I learned that in an anthropology course. Because they're constantly fighting over pussy. Their testosterone's very high. They're always spazzing out.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Chimp facts. I subscribe. Twice a day. I get a text notification. Chimp facts. I don't know, man. Just look up something even grosser and then you won't remember the chimp fucking. What up, slut? Love the podcast. I've shared it with my fraternity brothers and you make my dreadful walk to class bearable. Not having a car at an SEC school sucks. Tainted hairy ballsack. Yeah, that would suck. Anyways, getting to the point, I know you're a Blues fan. Fuck the Hawks, I'm a Ducks fan. But I'm trying to get a few of my friends to sign up for Beer League. Now, I know you said that you were going to play pickup games, which I understand because many of us don't have time for the bullshit drama that comes along with guys thinking that every game is Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. But have you ever played Beer League? What's your experience with it? Was it filled with tryhards, or was it more of a relaxed pickup game? I've done stick and pucks in the past, which is basically like you go out there and it's just a regular pickup game. Where, you know what a pickup game is. You just go out there. They always need a couple goalies, so you just get out there. I haven't done that in years, though. Where you just go out there and then you start playing a quick pickup game. Haven't joined an official beer league. I know a number of people who have, though, and it seems to just be totally up in the air. Like, it can be a bunch of guys who just want to sit around and drink and hang out, play some hockey, and then go to a bar after or something. Or it can be some guys who, didn't quite make it to the junior A level or whatever they were going for, the AHL, and so they come back and they try way too hard and don't understand that everybody else is that's just fucking Ted from accounting over at the local, bakery. Bakeries, they need accountants. Yeah, so I think you should go for it. It'll be fun. Will you read this next one, Liz? Because I'm about to cough.
Which one?
Which one? This one.
I think I'm in your general demographic, so perhaps the advice you can give me will relate to others. I'm 22 years old, and I have been working my first real job for about 9 months now. I feel like this job isn't giving me the career experience I want, and there is very little opportunity to grow. I have applied for another job at a larger company, and I think the salary will be around $5,000 less. However, there will likely be an opportunity to be promoted in 6 months to a year. Should I take the job even though it has lower salary? If it matters, I'm in software development industry. Big fan of the show. Melissa's great. Aw, that's nice. Thank you. Wish you both the best. Kindest regards from Canada.
What's your advice to him, Melissa?
Well, I worked a shit job. I mean, it didn't pay anything. And I'm kind of making less money than I was at that job now, but I'm gaining way more valuable experience. So I would evaluate it based on the experience and not just the opportunity to be promoted, even though that is probably the decision maker right there is promotion in 6 months to a year. That's, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, you're
That's
22.
really good.
Your expenses probably aren't out of control. You can probably deal with 5K less if you know that there's going to be an opportunity for promotion. And I assume with that promotion, you'll be bumping up higher than your original salary. I don't know. You're young enough that you can take a risk like that, and if it goes sour, like it's not the end of the world. It's not like you're 46 years old and you really got to make this count, and it ends up that it's a horrible career decision. But I say go for it. All right. Name's John. Call me a slut. At least once a month I take a shit on a public toilet seat. Am I an asshole? Also, you should have Melissa on regularly, kind of like how Conan has that fat guy, just with a hot girl. Will you be my fat guy?
Yeah, I'll be your fat guy.
Oh, great. Great.
I'm going to turn into your fat guy if you keep bringing me home treats.
Oh, I'm bringing you too many treats recently.
You bring me treats all the time.
Yeah.
Chocolate and ice cream.
It's because it's like $2 and you really enjoy it. And so I'm like, oh, well, may as well be nice.
Yeah, you're going to
But really, it's just making you fat.
Oh, thanks.
That's what you said.
No, you just said it too. I said it's going to make me fat. You said it's making me fat.
It's going to make you fat, whatever. So he, at least once a month, he takes a shit on a public toilet seat. Yeah, you're an asshole. You shouldn't be shitting on public toilet seats. And why once a month? Why not at least make it a rare occasion? If you're going to befoul a restroom, maybe once a year? Isn't that enough?
Because you know who's going to have to clean that up? Some poor son of a bitch that hates their job.
No, it's going to be some poor black guy who just got out of the standardized test shark pool. He's just hopping out. Meanwhile, you're collecting your third baton of cash for the day.
Although shit on a toilet seat in the men's restroom isn't anywhere near as bad as what goes on in the ladies' restroom.
Yeah,
so
blood everywhere.
Don't feel that bad. No, seriously, people do some fucked up shit in the women's restrooms.
I've never cleaned a woman's restroom or been in there since I was a child.
You don't. Yeah, you
What's
don't
the worst thing you've ever seen in a woman's restroom?
The worst thing I've ever seen or heard of.
In graphic detail, you've seen.
Because women, like I've been in a stall.
Blood fights.
No, I've been in a stall in like a bathroom before and had a woman in the stall next to me just start peeing on the floor. Like I don't even know how she accomplished it. She just is just. You hear the piss on the floor, hitting the tile on the floor, and you're just like, am I really hearing what I'm hearing right now? Yes, that woman's just pissing on the floor. How is this happening?
Gross.
Yeah. And then, the obvious blood stuff, but no one wants to hear about that. I'm not sharing anything like that.
No, share.
No.
What was the grossest
disgusting.
blood? Did someone throw it on the wall like they do with spaghetti to make sure it's cooked?
Well, you know how your Poop Bandit story would write shit on the wall with shit?
Yeah, do it in blood.
Just imagine that.
What did they write?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, what did they write?
Just fuck you, whatever.
Fuck you, whatever.
Yeah, they just wrote, fuck.
In blood.
It's so disgusting. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
I don't want to bring up those memories. Those images in my head of women's restrooms are just haunting.
You need to find a nice video of a chimp and two girls to get it out of your head.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I wonder how much those girls were paid to do a porn with a chimp.
Not enough.
I'm sure they were paid in drugs.
There's never enough.
I'm sure they were paid in drugs. They must have been
drug
addicts.
They've got to be on drugs to do that.
Yeah. I wouldn't get close enough to a chimp for them to even start doing sexual things. I think they're really neat and interesting, but
I'd be afraid
Jesus
of it
Christ,
killing you.
Chimp can kill you. A chimp can just grab your neck and be like, oh, this is breakable, and then just squeeze and kill you.
Yeah.
Tear your fingers off, tear your nuts off.
Idiots.
Just grab your tit and just tear it off like it's
gross.
one of those,
I hate monkeys.
like one of those
Ugh.
biscuits you make in the oven where you tear them apart.
Ew, I don't
Tear
wanna
apart
think,
bread
I don't wanna
rolls.
think about monkeys.
Yeah, just ripping just big tits off like that.
Gross.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an asshole for shitting on that. What am I talking about? What's happening? Hey, Taylor, I asked a question about my coke problem in high school, which you answered in a previous episode. Since then, I have ditched the nasty habits and now on the straight and narrow, except the booze and occasional Ritalin binge. Occasional Ritalin binge. What the fuck are you doing? You just have a lot of homework? Oh, I'm gonna, get so high and do geometry all night. I feel great, but during the time I was battling cravings and depression, I unintentionally became distant from people in my school. That'll happen. I'm a social guy, but I have been having trouble becoming the guy people want to hang out around and invite to all the parties. I have one more year of high school and want to get out to more parties and fuck more girls. So I guess the question is, what tips would you give me to becoming the guy people want at their parties, and how do I get people to know who I am? Yours truly, a teenager. This is confusing because you led off to it saying that you're a social guy, and that it doesn't sound like you have a problem, right? You got off the coke. You're just reacclimating to the old social guy you used to be. And
people with drug problems, like, they always have some kind of underlying problem they have to work on. Like, that's why they relapse. Like, they get better, they relapse, it happens, and it can happen. So it's...
Yeah.
Like,
but he's not asking for
not having a problem anymore. That's subjective to each person, whether or not they actually have a problem anymore.
I was talking about the social problem that he's having.
Oh, I thought you meant problem with that he doesn't have a problem with drugs anymore.
Well, hopefully he doesn't have a problem with coke anymore, because that's not a good one to have a problem with. But from what you said, it seems like you were a social guy before, and then you went into the depression after you got done with coke, which is very common, I've heard, is that once you are getting off of cocaine, it's very depressing. You feel so down and just horrible and awful because your body's been artificially lifted to that incredible mood that then it gets taken off the substance and it has to make its own, what would it be, dopamine, or serotonin, I guess that would be, and just doesn't quite keep up and you feel down and depressed. But over time, that should get better, and you should just return to being the social guy that you were before, since it doesn't seem like you were struggling fully. I don't know what you could do to be the guy that people notice. Usually the people who try really hard to get noticed are the people who that other people don't want at the parties because they just think it's going to be the them show, If someone's constantly around you trying to be the center of attention and they're not a natural at it, then it's kind of forced and uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, some people are just the center of attention when they go places. It's natural, and you are okay with that. But when you try and artificially, like, make yourself, like, I don't know, too much the center of attention, it turns people off. As far as being the guy who people want at their parties, you could bring cocaine. You'll get invited back. I don't know, just, I guess my honest advice was going to be, just always bring something for people to have fun with. But, that's probably not good advice since you're in high school. I don't know. I think that since you didn't have problems with being social beforehand, you need to take it one step at a time. Work out the problems you're having with yourself with this coke problem, and don't try and force yourself into becoming the way you feel like you used to be. If you just handle that problem, you'll just naturally return to the way you were, and it seems like that was fine. So it seems like more than trying to change, you're just trying to get back to where you were, which will come with time. And hey, if it takes you all senior year of high school, who fucking cares, because you've got college next year, right? Plenty of time to be tempted by coke and have sex then. What time is it? We'll do one more, because then we have to go on our Valentine's Day date.
Didn't even get to talk about the new redirect program.
The redirect program? Do you want to close off with that?
No.
Well, why would you bring it up?
I'm just sad.
You're just sad?
Because I looked up one thing to
Bring
talk
it up.
about.
Bring it up. We'll close with that.
I looked up one thing to talk about, and you're like, well, look up something else, too. And then...
Look,
and then you're
start
like,
it. Start. I'm pointing at the mic right now.
No, we answer the questions now.
No,
we'll talk about it next time. But we're talking about
maybe
it
we'll
next
talk
time.
about it on the bonus episode.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the bonus episode. We'll do one more here, though. How about an Am I the Asshole? Because these are the best. Am I an asshole? Not sure if you even read these, but I would appreciate your opinion on my family drama. So like you, my parents divorced later in life. I was a freshman in high school, and I am now a sophomore in college. My mom is getting remarried. Since I live in the dorms across the state, I know very little about this man. I don't really care to learn. Totally on the same page with you. Don't let your parents pressure you into learning about their boyfriends or girlfriends, because they need to understand that it's not your life. You don't need to give a fuck. Coming home from the holidays, they announced that the soon-to-be marriage, and they both expressed interest in me getting to know my new stepdad. I don't see the need for the new stepfather and son bonding time. I don't either, and you need to make that very apparent with your mom. In my opinion, I am a grown-ass man, and I don't need to bond with my new daddy. LOL.
Yes.
Am I an asshole for only wanting to be acquaintances with this guy instead of the father-son relationship this guy apparently desires? No, not at all. Not at all. It's not fair for him to come into your life, set up shop, and then expect you to facilitate his newfound needs to be fatherly. It's not fair. If you were like 4 years old and this was happening, yeah, it would make sense for you to develop a bond with him and have a positive male role model in your life. Because of the fact that you're, I guess, 20, 21 probably? Yeah, unnecessary. Nonsense. You don't need that. You are not an asshole in the least, and if you start to get a lot of shit and pressure from either parent to hang out and try and have a personal relationship with that person, just try and be stern and just say, that's exactly what I did with my dad, is when he was trying to get me to know his new wife and all of that shit, when that was first going down, but when he even told me, saying, like, I'm going to get remarried, and I told him, okay, that's fine, I'll be courteous and cordial and really nice to everyone on that side of the family that I meet, but I'm not going to their events. I'm not going to show up at their fucking Christmas and pretend to like or know these people. And I'm not going to really divulge stuff about my life to these people unless I feel comfortable with it. I'm not going to force a relationship. And as long as you stick by that line, there have been a couple times where I've been pressured, like, oh, you should really come to this fucking Thanksgiving extravaganza with this family. And I'll still say, nope, this was the deal. I'm not doing it. This is not my family. I don't need to. I have other shit to think about. So you're not an asshole at all. I say, break it to your mom gently, though. Don't be a dick. Just be like, he's not my real dad. Just say no. No means no. I've heard. What?
You've heard.
I've heard. Yeah.
It's going around.
It's going around. What? Do you have anything to pipe in there, Liz?
No, because my divorced parents, I don't know, like, it's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
My mom, yeah, not gonna talk about it.
Not gonna talk about it. Maybe on the bonus episode? No, probably not. All right. Well, that is this week. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Relevant links should be in the description. Patreon bonus episode this Sunday or Monday, depending on when we can both sit down and do it. And the fucking Skype chat tomorrow at noon. Hopefully I can get a lot of you in there. Anyway, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll talk to you later.
See ya.